So in this video, I'm going to break down the exact strategy and tactics that we use to increase this e-commerce brand's ROAS by 132%, their revenue by 111%, and their purchases by 70% in just a 30-day period of their campaigns going live. All of which was done by spending 9% less. So this video is going to be broken down into 6 key sections that help towards the success of this account. First of all, we're going to start off with the keyword research, then we're going to move on to the Google Merchant Center optimizations. Number 3 is going to be the account structure, which is going to break down the search campaigns and the performance max campaigns. And finally, we're going to break down the conversion tracking. But let's talk a little bit about this client. So this client was a retailer of windows and doors with a core focus on the following product types: composite doors, UPVC doors, French doors, bifold doors, sliding patio doors, and UPVC windows. So we needed to make sure that we included campaign types that would drive relevant, high converting traffic towards each of these product types. But first of all, like all great strategies on Google Ads, they start with extensive keyword research, even for your e-commerce clients. So we always start off with extensive keyword research for our e-commerce clients for the following 3 reasons. So number 1 is to find keywords that we can bid for in search campaigns, which then follows on to number 2, which is to find out any relevant phrases that we can use in our ad copy, within our site links, and within our caller. And finally, which is probably the most important for e-commerce clients, is to find out key attributes that people are searching for with these products. And we want to understand these so we can differentiate them within our product titles and our descriptions. What these attributes are specific words that extend the user's search, that make it hyper specific to what they're after. Product attributes that people use to differentiate their search are things like the brand, the size, the material, the pattern, the weight, and the color of that product. Now, based on the keyword research we did, this led to extensive optimizations to our product titles and our descriptions in our Google Merchant Center. Now, product titles are very, very important when it comes to Google Shopping. Now, this is because 85% of all the search terms your shopping ads appear for are matched to the words and phrases within your product titles. So you want to make sure that your product titles are front loaded with the key attributes that people are searching for. And you also want to make sure you're using all 150 characters of your product titles, not 70, 150. So when we're researching what we should be doing with our product titles, we do use the keyword planner on Google Ads, but we also just use Google search, and we want to find out what our competitors are doing in terms of the structure of their titles. So for this client, from this research in both competitor research and keyword research, we found out that the following attributes were really important to this user's search. So this was the length of the window or the door, but in feet, not meters, the material of the door, the color, and the dimensions, but in millimeters. So as you can see, it is very specific. So from this research, we can now match what the users naturally are searching for and have a higher chance of a user clicking on our ad compared to a competitor who may not be doing it this way. So from this research, we ended up with the following structure for our titles. The order of these attributes went: size, color, material, product type, dimensions, a USP, and our brand name. Here's an example of what it ended up looking like. Now, our USP of made to measure is not something that we originally had in this title structure, but as I said, we wanted to make the most of the 150 characters, so we thought we would add this in because this is a customizable thing that we do, but our competitors didn't. So it's a great way to stand out. Now, moving on to the descriptions of our product listings. So as I said, product titles are very important, but descriptions are important too. In fact, 15% of all the searches that your shopping ads appear for come from the keywords and the phrases that you input into your product descriptions. Now, Google recommends you to aim for around 3,000 to 5,000 characters within your Google product descriptions. However, we like to aim for between 500 and 1,500 characters. Now, the reason we do this is from our experience with extensive descriptions that are 3,000 to 5,000 characters, you end up just filling them with random nonsense. And when they're just filled with random keywords and phrases, that's when you actually have to start populating your negative keywords based on this. So what we like to do is to concentrate our descriptions down into the most relevant keywords and phrases. So this is what we did for this client. So we started by actually front loading and copy and pasting the product title to the first sentence of the description, because these are the most relevant keywords that your user is going to be searching for. So you're more than welcome to just recycle those to the first sentence. Then we wanted to concentrate our descriptions down to 1,500 characters by doing the following: removing any promotional or repetitive content and anything to do with delivery. And we also want to make sure we avoid using any special characters characters, emoji, and too much capitalization. Now, the account structure was actually pretty simple. We wanted to make sure we had a search campaign and a shopping campaign per product type. So we had 6 core product types we needed to cover, and each one of them had a search campaign and a shopping campaign. We also made sure to use a brand campaign, as we had competitors bidding on a brand name, so we needed to protect it. And we also had a dynamic remarketing campaign to remarket to users who are yet to convert. Now, this was really important to this client because they had high ticket items. So their items were starting from around £500. Now let's cover the structure of our search campaigns. So as noted, we had 1 search campaign per product type. And then within each product type, we did extensive keyword research to break this campaign down into specific ad groups, which had themes of keywords. Now, as you can see, we actually had a lot of ad groups per search campaign. And this is because I like to be quite granular with our approach with search campaigns. And this is for the benefit of a marketing concept called message match. This is when the user's search best matches the keywords we're bidding for, and the keywords we're bidding for best matches the ad the user clicks on, and the ad best matches the landing page that the user goes on to. Now, if all of these match up, they have a high chance of converting because what they're actually searching for is relevant to what they're being shown. Now, I explain that in about 30 seconds, but this video here explains it in a lot more detail as to why you should be taking message match very seriously with your marketing. Now, moving on to our performance max structure. As we said with our search campaigns, we wanted to make sure we had 1 campaign per product type. We also wanted to do this with our shopping campaign, but we didn't need to have 1 performance max campaign per product type. With the benefits of performance max, we could actually house them within only 1 or 2 campaigns in asset groups. Now, the reason this is beneficial is because the learning phase that you have to go through in a performance max campaign compared to a search campaign is so much longer. So if you're spreading out your budget over 6 performance max campaigns instead of just 2, you are really extending the learning phase that you need to go through. It's really best to house data in performance max campaigns to fewer campaigns. As with all of our foundation strategies performance max campaigns, we started with a higher demand, lower demand campaign split. This is based off the 80-20 Pareto principle. Now, the main reason we want to do this is because we want to house asset groups or product types which generate similar levels of impressions and clicks, so that each of our asset groups or product types can get an even distribution of spend. Now, our campaigns may have started off like this, but they ended up like this. So within our main Pmax campaign, we actually identified 2 winning asset groups or 2 product types that had heightened impressions and heightened clicks, and were generating a really good return for us. When this happens, you really want to scale your winners, and the best way to do that is to scale those out into their own campaigns where they can have their own budget set to them. But you want to make sure this is the correct optimization to do, because this is a significant optimization which would definitely make an impact in your performance for the short term, but for the long term it's very beneficial to do. So you want to make sure this is a calculated move you're making. Now, a recommendation we actually do is to segment out the losing asset groups into a new campaign and keep the winning asset groups within that existing campaign, because it has more data and would have naturally had more spend to it. So fundamentally, this will reduce the learnings that both of these campaigns need to go through. Now, finally, let's go over the conversion tracking. As with all of our e-commerce clients, we want to make sure we are set up with the most reliable and high quality conversion tracking possible, which should include both enhanced conversions and consent mode, as this was a client in the UK, so we needed to make sure we're abiding by consent laws. So due to the high average order value of this product, we were actually getting quite a lot of orders via the phone, but these weren't actually being recorded or attributed to the campaigns, and therefore these campaigns were missing out on important conversion data to dictate whether they're performing well or bad and optimize their performance for the better. So in order to fix this, we had to set up offline conversions, which created a G-CLID, which was recorded with the phone call, which we could then feed back to the Google Ads and count that as a conversion with the attributed conversion value. So we now had conversions that were formerly not being recorded in the account, but now were. So our campaigns can better optimize and their performance can increase over time because they're no longer flying blind. Now, that's it from me for this video, but if you're an e-commerce brand that is currently struggling with profitability on Google Ads because you haven't quite cracked the code to Google Ads to scale sustainably, then please go to the link in the description where you can book a call with myself or a member of the team where we can brainstorm the exact strategy and tactics that we would need to implement to turn your Google Ads account into the money printing machine that it really is. Thank you guys. I'll see you on the next.